Reports and communications, beginning with Councilmember Cardoza.
Thank you, Mayor. For chamber events, it's been pretty quiet for social gatherings. I know the chamber's working with EDC and they're having virtual workshops, helping the community restart their business, helping them get through the application process of getting money and reopening their businesses. I believe there was a government board meeting this morning. I'll let Vice Mayor talk about that when his time comes up.
I wasn't able to attend.
Oh. Okay, well, I didn't either. So, Diana, would you like to speak on it while I'm here?
The mayor attended, or I can cover it.
Okay, Mayor, would you like to speak on it then when time comes? Thank you. I didn't know you were there. I thought Vice Mayor was there.
I'm going to be honest, I was texting, we didn't listen to you. I don't know what you said.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyway, so we're going to kick over to meetings.
Straight up,
Well, when his
wasn't
time
listening,
comes,
sorry.
when his time comes up, we'll let him speak on that. I attended the Regional Housing Authority meeting, and I was elected the new chair, board member for 2021. Yes, I am the leader of the, they all like me. They voted for me. Anyway, we had a great year last year. We got a lot of things going. There is a lot of apartment complexes, housing being built in the Regional Housing Authority throughout our communities. I see today I drove by, we have the water line on our project on Miles Way and Garden Highway, and I see they got the foundations dug up, so we're moving there. Hopefully their goal is for the summer 2021 to be finished with it. Attended the Yuba City Transit Authority meeting. Update on that, the Yuba College Sutter County Center shuttle has been suspended for the summer of 2020. I attended I just want to let everybody know about that. I attended the Feather River Air Quality District meeting, and I was also on the Financial Budget Committee. And yesterday we passed our budget for the Feather River Air Quality for 2021. Attended the Planning Commission meeting last week. And of course, we had our budget meetings. We've been attended every week here at Council for community and city events. I'm going to start off. We celebrated tonight with Mr. Fuller, who attended Council, and myself attended Mr. Fuller's retirement luncheon yesterday. I want to thank you again for 42 years of dedicated service, Bill. I was down at the wastewater treatment facility. We had some donuts, and I wanted to congratulate and wish happy retirement to Dan Poe, our chief plant operator, and Pat how's that pronounced, please? Posthumous. She's our lab technician. 18 years of service to the city of Yuba City. Happy retirement to those folks. Attended the free mask giveaway sponsored by Matt Connick, our 5th District Supervisor, and helped collect donations for Back to Badge. He had a pretty good turnout that afternoon. Got some money for Back to Badge. Monday, Memorial Day, Councilman Shaw and myself, we attended the Freedom's Heroes Memorial Ceremony at the Calvary Christian Center. The guest speaker was Dave Roever. He's a Vietnam veteran. Pardon? Oh, Reaver, thank you. And I want to thank Pastor Michael COC Lola, see if I got that right, for the invitation. That's always a wonderful presentation. A little warm that day, but we made it through it. Attended the farmers markets, both the Wednesday night at the museum and the Saturday morning at our town fountain. Lots of folks are going to both those. They've had great turnouts. The vendors are having a good time. It's a great thing for our community. So that's on Wednesday nights from 4 to 7 at our museum. And then, of course, Saturdays at the fountain from 8 to noon. I attended the Sikh temple in Terbuena, the essential food package offering for the general public. They passed out 40 pounds of food per person. That was this Saturday and Sunday. And then also I attended with Councilmember Shaw, the Yuba City Celebrating Seniors Class of 2020 at the Kmart parking lot. And that was hosted by Adventure Church of Yuba City. And I'd also like to thank Pastor Greg Mansour for that. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Councilmember Espandola.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, congratulations, Councilman Cardoza, for the chairman of the housing. I think that's, you've put in a lot of time and work into that, so congratulations for getting that nomination and approval. I would like a recount on the votes, please. just good humor between you and I. Thank you. I know that most of the people in the audience are executive team, but I don't know if anyone else is watching, and our council is here. And I just wanted to talk about a couple of items that have been really weighing heavy. I'm already getting choked up because it's issues that are close to me and close to many people. And I've been thinking a lot about this and how people have called, and because I don't necessarily go out as much still yet because I have family that are very vulnerable, and I want to keep them safe. And so two things that we're still continuing to face, and that is COVID-19 and racism. COVID-19 has impacted our community, and we've taken every single measure that I know to protect our community, and we still continue to do this. There has been so many negative effects because of COVID-19. People have lost their lives. People are stressed. People have lost jobs. People have lost businesses. And now this virus of racism is in full display. Systemic racism is not new. Injustice is not new. We are hurting. The pain is real. The wounds are deep from the virus of racism. The reality is that the difference between these two, one could have been prevented, and COVID-19 is a new virus with so many unknowns. The murder of George Floyd at the knee and hands of 4 Minneapolis officers. As I watched the video, it was horrifying. It was gut-wrenching. Where is our humanity? The wounds run deep in pain and sorrow and anger. People are protesting because we need change. People need the scales of justice. We need fair distribution of law with no influence of biases, privilege, or corruption. Peaceful demonstrations are an avenue to change. I have protested in peaceful demonstrations in the past because it's my constitutional right, and it's yours too. I stood up, I spoke up, I marched for justice, for equality, for democracy, and for human rights, and I will continue to do so. I say to the protesters, protest in peace, march in peace and love, and rise up always for the scales of justice. Do not let opportunists take this moment. They are the criminals. What they are doing is wrong, and it needs to stop. Peaceful demonstrations can bring change. Change is possible. We need to improve the scales of justice. We need leaders in church, in temple, in education, in business, in elected officials, in community. We are at a tipping point, and I'm here to help in any way I can to help improve the scales of justice. I end my thoughts in the memory and prayers of Mr. George Floyd and countless others who deserved better. His and their families deserve justice. As Dr. Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess following up on that, there's a lot of things in the world that go wrong. And at the end of the day, my personal opinion is there's good people and there's bad people. And that's really what it boils down. We're all people. And I just want to extend a thank you, Chief, to you and your department. You guys have been beyond reproach for as long as I've been here. And thank you for having the standards that you guys do. And please convey that to all your officers. I know they're doing a hell of a job. So, and thank you. And thank you for the statement you guys put out. Well noted. And I know where you guys stand. And I'm honored to serve you guys. So thank you. This past couple of weeks, not much going on as far as meetings. 2 events that I attended was the one that Councilmember Cardoza referred to, which was a Grateful Nation Remembered, and that's held out at Calvary Temple. And Pastor C did a fabulous job. Dave Reaver, if you know anything about this man, he is absolutely incredible. Back during, I believe it was Vietnam, he had a grenade in his hand that went off in his hand, blew half his face off. And he, to this day, carries the weight of a 1-star general on contract with the Department of Defense and goes and visits our servicemen and women and helps them recover because they suffer from PTSD and other things, and just an incredible man. So kudos to Pastor C and the entire group out there. Thank you for letting us be a part. The second one's Pastor Greg and Adventure. They came to myself and several others of the community a few weeks ago, wanted to do something for the seniors, and my wife and I were honored to be one of the sponsors. And so that's why we were invited to be there. And we got to bump fist with probably about 400 kids that day. And really appreciate all the others that came on board. Adventist really stepped up huge. So a big shout out to those guys, because with everything going on in the world right now, there's the class of 2020 that's kind of getting lost. And at least we were able to do something just a few days ago to help them, let them know that we think about them. We wanted to make them feel honored. And to the whole crew at Adventure, PG and those guys, thank you so much for what you did. I've got meetings coming up this week. We will be Transit or WMA. We will be starting back up our development impact fee committee later this month, taking the next step. Hopefully we're going to get more traction with the Bogue Stewart Master Tax Agreement, because that's been stalemated, in my opinion, far too long. And we need to get that moving, because that will be the catalyst that will help us address the things we talked about earlier with the Walton District. So looking forward to that. So not much to report, but that's it. Mr. Mayor, back to you.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As far as city meetings, really a lot of closed sessions in regards to the budget. Kudos to staff for the volumes of information that they've provided to us in regards to not only their proposed budget, but some of the reductions. And I know there's some questions I've placed out there, and I'm looking forward to getting the answers on those as well. As I referenced earlier, having the meetings with Dr. Liu and Robert Bendorf and Steve Smith and Rachel Downs, extremely accommodating, very willing to listen, and we'll continue to have those in regards to some other events. I know we have a bridge opening in July that we're probably going to need to get some clarification on as far as what we can do for ceremonies for that as well. I do want to acknowledge the Yuba City Police Department. I know that over the last week, they have been faced with a lot of different rumors about events, and I know that they have actually, in a conversation with the chief, I know that the personal relationships that our officers, including Chief Landon, have with individuals within the community, I think, have gone a long way towards making sure that anything that's done in the way of vigils or remembrances. I like to try to get away from protests. I like to think more along the lines of just moving forward and having peaceful opportunities to express the rights of folks and their voices. I know that there's a few things that continue to pop up. I'm aware of an unfortunate incident up in Reading that we've all been made aware of. And to Chief, to your folks there at the police department, incredible amount of pressure, I think, to perform, especially as you look across the nation and you see what law enforcement and the National Guard is being faced with in regards to what's happening in the way of violence. My thoughts are with your guys and gals every day, just hoping like heck something like that doesn't come around here or to our region. And I have the utmost respect for law enforcement right now. I also have the utmost respect for those who are choosing to peacefully protest. They have every right to do so. And I have a lot of dismay and anger towards those who are taking advantage of the situation to do other things. Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, and you may have had this on your list already, I would like you to consider adjourning the meeting tonight in the memory of Bob Gallagher, Robert Gallagher, Assemblyman Gallagher's grandfather. He was a county supervisor here in Sutter County, and just one of those folks who served his community. And unfortunately, he passed here a week or so ago. And our thoughts to his grandson, James Gallagher, who's been a tremendous advocate for the city of Yuba City. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. I did miss that. I have another one here, but I appreciate that. I don't have a lot of activity the last couple of weeks, city-related, but I do want to piggyback on what you just said, Vice Mayor, and what we've all said in this appreciation for our police department. Chief, your folks are stepping up. I happen to know from experience it's a 24/7 operation, and you go off so many rumors, and which ones do you choose to follow up on, which ones do you don't? And it's a constant, probably a mini command post over there right now, just keeping track of social media alone. And it's a lot of work. Your folks are really stepping up. And, when that happens nationwide, and it's a very, very, of course, unfortunate, I'm not going to get into all the dynamics of how we got here in the first place, other than it's tragic. And to respond the way you do in our community, we never really had people go off the rails like we see all around us. And a lot of that's not only because our community is full of good people, but your response and your presence and your ability to keep on top of things and curtail things. And so I really appreciate that. And hopefully this will be another example of exactly that. But I know you're ready if some folks decide to go off the rails. And here's to you folks, and please stay safe out there. Appreciate everything you do. Down at the SACOG meetings, a lot of it is COVID, everything, the uncertainty, financial uncertainty, projects that are in place and placed in jeopardy. And so the conversation's primarily circling around that. We are moving forward incrementally, but we're moving forward on deciding on voting for the funding round that I've mentioned, the formula that we use to base who gets how much money. Also, I'm on the Transportation Committee for SACOG. That is yet to meet this month. The same thing with Community Services Subcommittee for League of California Cities, yet to meet this month. Both, actually all three, are meeting virtually. Also had a virtual meeting. Well, everything was pretty much virtual. Yuba Center Arts, they're still doing the best they can, given our situation with COVID-19, to stay active and adapt. And I think every day that goes by, there's an example of those folks really thinking outside the box and doing what they can to keep our culture active. With times like this and these one, now two tragedies that we're dealing with that are quite serious and will have lasting impacts, they add a little spark of hope and something, a little bit of variance. And I appreciate the work they do, and thank you for joining on the meeting for a while. Councilmember Cardoza mentioned the Chambers meeting this morning. That was primarily consisted of everybody updating everybody else on their status and their challenges that they're facing in the business world. We did have a pretty good, I thought it was pretty good presentation, a pretty good detailed presentation from a gentleman, I don't recall his name, on the Sutter Point development down in South Sutter County. It was quite interesting if everything comes together for that, how that will come to pass. So we appreciated learning that. Other than that, we're all staying busy. I'm glad to hear the fireworks is going. Hopefully things will continue to do well so we can get the 4th of July parade going too. It's my opinion, 4th of July is the best holiday, so everything we can do is the better for that. I appreciate the suggestion, Mark, about closing memory of Robert Gallagher, Simon Gallagher's grandfather, and also a former member of our Sutter County Board of Supervisors. But I also would like to close in memory of Art Bramwood, a retired Sutter County sheriff who recently passed away. I do have a little bit of information I'd like to pass on Art's bio. He was born in Miami, Florida in 1938, and he started his law enforcement career in 1960 when he joined Metro-Dade Sheriff Department. In 65, with his wife Cheryl, they moved to Oakland. He became an Oakland PD officer, held many positions there and various responsibilities. In 1980, they joined the Yuba City family, moved to Yuba City, and he joined the police department and later became a captain when he retired. In 89, he became Sutter County Sheriff, retired from that position in 1998. And 05, he returned to Yuba City PD as the chaplain and retired from there in 2013. He has enjoyed life to the fullest, that's for sure. Also enjoyed duck hunting, spending time with his grandchildren and his beloved dogs, and I can relate to that one. So, definitely a presence everywhere he went. Contributed to our community, contributed to our family, contributed in so many different ways, as did Mr. Gallagher, without a doubt. I didn't have the privilege of knowing Mr. Gallagher, but again, no doubt that there was significant contribution there too. So with that being said, and with deep respect for their families and their loved ones and their memory, we would like to adjourn this meeting. Thank you all very much.